Hey coach, we're taking a look here at the open race, 55 hurdles. So first, we'll take a look at Ponca. All right, that's full speed. Now let's go back through frame by frame here. So we're gonna count the steps out the blocks to make sure that they're aggressive enough. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. It's decent. All right, he still just needs more push. So that's gonna be Dean down in lane 1. Just needs more push. And you see how upright his torso is here? You see that back is basically vertical. So he's got to work on, that's probably a flexibility issue. All right, but then consciously he really needs to try and put his chest on the shoulder. He might feel it's challenging because he might feel like he's not tall enough, but that's an illusion. All right, it's a mental thing. All right, and so for Dean, really it's the push. See how his strides go extra big in between the hurdles? That's because he feels he's not really close enough. Right, and so he really wants to make sure that he covers the distance. He clipped hurdle there with his lead leg. But if he pushed through the hurdle more, he would land maybe a few inches further off the hurdle. And now he has more confidence in keeping the three-step rhythm rather than trying to reach the next hurdle. See how his foot is casting forward there and then landing way ahead of the hips. So same thing with the cut step. The cut step is humongous. And so that's just a matter of pushing more. It really needs to be 1,000% push right through this first hurdle. So the aggression is like tackling someone, right? So this last step is like if you were to dive into a tackle, 100% to really destroy the opponent. That's the aggression that he needs here. And then he'll land in a better position so that he doesn't have to reach for the hurdles in between. So with Dean especially, he really just needs more push. Right now, he's just getting up and over the hurdle, not really pushing very much. There needs to be a very much exaggerated push into the hurdle. Trail leg is decent. All right, when it casts forward like that, this is all your hurdlers right now. That means that they're not holding that trail leg dorsiflexion. So off of the hurdle, the only thing they want to do is drive the knee high and hold the dorsiflexion. That means that their ankle has to have that tightness to it. Same tightness that your fists have when you clench a fist. That's a good tightness. All right, if they just hold that, the trail leg won't cast forward. It'll drive more vertically down, and they'll find they have a lot more speed with that. It just takes conscious effort, because without the conscious effort, it just, they don't know it, and it keeps opening up like that. Trail leg opens up. All right, so now we'll take a look at Clayton in lane 3. Same thing. He's picking his head up immediately. All right, through step 1. So there's step 1 on the ground, and his head is already on the hurdle. And so he really has to be conscious to keep his head down for the first 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And so all that leads to is just a bit of timidness through the first hurdle. Whereas if he had kept the head down, he'd have been more aggressive through the first 4, and that aggression would have kept him right through the hurdle. All right, so other than that, keeping the head down and really pushing out for 4, what Clayton really needs to focus on, and same thing as Ponca that we'll look at next, is the trail leg casting. See how the trail leg kicks forward off the hurdle? That's an error, right? And it's once again, same thing I said for Dean, it's because he's just bringing the trail leg over, but he's not holding on to that sensation of tightness at the ankle, which is dorsiflexion. That's all you do. You have to hold that feeling as long as possible. And now when you strike down, you'll retain all your speed. As soon as you lose that tightness, what's going to happen? You're going to slap the ground. And when you slap the ground, you didn't retain any of that pretension, and now you're not really thumping the ground with any kind of force. And so that's his biggest thing, right? Got to keep the head down. The push could be better, but really, because he's already running, pretty fast. He can definitely get under 8 seconds, but he absolutely has to hold the trail leg dorsiflexion. It gets a little better towards the end, just because he gets in rhythm and things start connecting more. But it really needs to be a conscious effort for all of the hurlers here. But he should definitely be at least where that second place kid is. All right, and then over time he could go catching this kid and run 7.6. 7.6 isn't, nothing amazing. It's good, definitely for high school. But once you learn how to hurdle, that's not something that's really unattainable. All right, so now let's look at Ponka in lane 6 here. All right, we'll look at it from the start, same as the last one. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So you see 7 was the biggest step. So that means on 7, he really wanted to make sure that he was close enough, and then he chopped down again for 8, which was good that he chopped down. But what he needs is bigger steps out the gate so that they get smaller as he gets to the hurdle. And he really has the opposite right now. So he has tiny steps, tiny step, tiny step, tiny step. And then as he gets to the hurdle, now he's starting to get bigger and bigger. And that's because subconsciously he's like, oh, am I close enough? Let me make sure I am close enough. And now we've disrupted the acceleration and the aggression. And now we're no longer racing to win the race, but we're hurdling. We don't want to be hurdling. We just want to be racing to the finish line. All right, so now aside from that, same thing as the rest of the boys. The trail leg is casting off the hurdle. All right, casting forward, boom. All the acceleration gone right there. Second stride, flat-footed. Third stride is decent. His third stride does enough to recover somewhat, but he's just losing a lot of speed here. So Clayton and Ponka can both be under 8 seconds this season, but they need to be conscious to get as far away from the blocks through the first 4 steps. And they do that primarily by just keeping their head down. Push, 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 push. Right? You can have them push for all 8 steps because eventually the 8 steps are going to feel like they're too close. Whereas right now they have the opposite. They feel like they're too far and they're making adjustments in the last 3 strides. And so we have to eliminate that. All right, so head down for 4 steps, push as far as possible from those blocks. All right, and that's the second cue is to hold on to the sensation of dorsiflexion through the hurdle. So right here, he loses it. Right here. It's gone. Now he casts forward. He lands flat-footed, foot way ahead. That's like a whole foot, 12 inches ahead of his hips. So if you can imagine how much time he's losing there, then you can see why it's very possible for them to get under 8 seconds this season. It's just a matter of being conscious that the trail leg, you don't ever consciously drive it down. Just keep pulling up, 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 up. Hold dorsiflexion, hold dorsiflexion, hold dorsiflexion. And then when it can't pull any further and the lead leg has made contact, it will naturally come down. All right, just like when you pull your fingers upwards or you pull your fingers backwards and you release them, they slingshot. That's exactly how the trail leg is supposed to operate. It shouldn't be a conscious driving down. It should be a pulling upwards, and then the stretch reflex gets activated, and that hammers it down. All right, so that casting, that's 3/10 for everybody, 3/4 right there. All right, so it's a lot better. Obviously, they all ran faster, but they can still run even faster. All right, hold the head down, push as hard as you can through that first hurdle, hold dorsiflexion off of the first hurdle. You just never let dorsiflexion go. Never let it go, never let it go, never let it go. And you'll realize that the trail leg starts functioning a lot better. All right, it's a lot of speed that they can pick up here. All right, so I'm expecting at least Clayton and Ponka to consistently make some finals here because they're ready to both go under 8. And then Dean can be there too. He just really needs to work on the strength of pushing through the hurdle. Push as hard as you can. All right, I hope this helps, Coach. Let me know if you have any questions. Thanks. Talk to you soon.